All right, everyone, buckle up because I have a whole lot to say about Joker 2 or Joker Folie Adieu. Just buckle in because I have a lot of thoughts about the way this movie has been marketed, the way critics have been talking about this movie, the way fans have been talking about this movie. I'm going to give my overall feelings and review, and kind of go into a little bit of discussion about this movie. I'm feeling a lot of ways. I'm feeling a lot of ways about this movie and the whole conversation around this movie, and I just want to get it out of here. So strap in, get yourself a little bit of a drink. I'm going to go on a rant here, and I usually don't do this in my reviews, but I feel like this topic, this movie, I'm feeling in a very ranty mood just because of everything going on with this movie. So let's start at the top. Joker 2 Folie Adieu is a sequel to the 2019 movie, I believe, Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. The first one, we see Joker basically go from this kind of lonely, forgotten, miserable, sick person that just can't take it anymore. He's constantly being abused, and he takes it out by killing a bunch of people, including a talk show host played by Robert De Niro. And in this movie, we're dealing with the fallout from that. He's standing trial. He's in Arkham Asylum. He's in prison, and things are just not looking good for Arthur, which understandably they wouldn't. He killed a bunch of people. Even if they were bullies, even if they were jerks. I mean, he killed his own mother. But she was also a jerk. This guy has been surrounded by just garbage his entire life. Not to justify anything. Obviously, you shouldn't murder anybody. But this guy is super ill. There's something wrong with him. Something deeply, deeply wrong. And he hasn't really gotten any help. And nobody's really around to help him. And things just evolve. So Joker 2, we see Arthur. He's kind of just, again, going back to this image, he's kind of just numb and dull, and he's being paraded through Arkham, going through the motions. He doesn't really seem to have any sort of, there's no Joker qualities about him at this point. He is just kind of, again, going with the motions. They have him on some kind of medication, probably some kind of sedative, to make sure he doesn't, fly off the handle again or anything like that. So he's just kind of meandering through Arkham. And it kind of goes on for a while. He has this interesting relationship with one of the guards. They kind of ask him, tell him a joke. They kind of think he's kind of a miserable, funny soul, and they give him cigarettes and stuff like that. But he has kind of a rapport with them, and kind of, they treat him a certain way. Not really explored why they treat him a certain way. I guess because at one point he was telling them jokes, and he kind of just gotten beaten down over time, and he lost that edge that he had at the end of the last movie. That's until he catches a glimpse at first of Harley Quinn. They call her Lee, Lady Gaga's character. He's going to discuss things with his attorney, and he catches a glimpse of her as they're passing this choir room, and suddenly, the lights start to turn back on. And that's when the music starts to come in a little bit. And we could see the lights kind of coming back on Arthur. This guy is really into the fantastical ideas of reality that he, has in his head. As, delusions of grandeur. He has all these crazy thoughts running through his mind. He is, at some points, the star of his own show. He has main character energy, as the kids say. And that is kind of the theme throughout Joker Folie Adieu. I'm just going to go back to Lady Gaga real quick, because Lady Gaga does an excellent job as Lee or Harley Quinn in this film. She brings a kind of heaviness to the character while also, there was a lot of talk that she is not exactly the Harley Quinn we know and love, but I would actually disagree a little bit. There's a lot of Harley energy in Lady Gaga's performance, especially later on in the film. You feel that Harley energy, that Harley anger and frustration, and just, her coldness too at times. So I would say, there's been episodes of the Batman animated series where you get a Harley that is that cold and bitter and angry. And I think Lady Gaga does a good job of bringing those points of Harley to life in this movie. At least I saw it there. I don't know if I was looking for it. I don't know if I'm pulling too much out of her performance, but I got the Harley there. It's not Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. It felt a lot more like the rage and the kind of the whimsy at times of the animated series Harley. I felt that emotion that you got a lot with that animated series Harley. So, of course, this movie, the marketing of this movie has been here and there, but there is a lot of music in this. And the music is, going back to what I said earlier, it is because Joker has main character energy. I mean, if you watch the first one, the guy is really into music. Obviously, he thinks about, watching the shows with his mom, the old movies, the old, like, Hollywood musical, That's Entertainment, which is a song that goes through the movie a lot. And that's kind of who this character is. That's how his brain works. He sees things or feels things as if they were, from a movie, because that is his best understanding of the world or the other world that he wishes he were a part of. This is a guy who grew up watching old Hollywood movies, watching late night comedy, stuff like that. That's why, the whole movie he's talking about being a comedian, because that is the fantasy that he wants to live in. But the problem is Arthur has little self-awareness. He's not that funny. He's not very charismatic. At least Arthur isn't. And then he has the persona of the Joker. And there's a cool thing in this movie. Right at the top, they have this animated, almost, Looney Tunes-esque animation at the beginning where Joker is fighting his shadow, and the shadow kind of wins over for a while, and then eventually they all kind of lose. And that is, they kind of tell you what the movie is going to be. They kind of tell you what it's about right at the top of the movie. This movie has been getting a lot of negative criticism from critics whose opinion I value a lot, and just, Rotten Tomato scores are tanking, at least at the time of this recording. On Letterboxd, it has a pretty abysmal rating, but I think people are not really, and I don't want to say, I know better, because, I don't in the grand scheme of things, but I know Joker and I know Batman. I've been watching these characters, reading these characters, living with these characters for a very, very long time, my whole life. And we've seen a lot of live action Jokers. We've seen a lot of animated Jokers. The one that stands out most to me, of course, is the Joker from Batman, the animated series. And I think if you see that Joker and you pay attention, and that Joker transfers over, the Mark Hamill Joker transfers over to the Arkham video games, where a lot of these same themes also play a part, where Joker has main character energy again. But the Joker is also a showman. You know, the Joker isn't just this maniacal guy who's, you know, crazy and he kills and he laughs and he's just constantly scheming. This guy wants big explosions. He wants chaos. You know, the version in the Christopher Nolan movies was, you know, some men just want to watch the world burn. And while that is a good interpretation of the Joker, that is only one facet of the Joker. One facet of the Joker. And I think what we get here is a little bit of a bigger picture. A little bit more well-rounded. But the thing with this Joker, and this is I'm going to go kind of down into my overall thoughts on why I think this movie was so fantastic, and it is a great character study on the Joker. And I think Todd Phillips and I think Joaquin Phoenix really, really get the Joker. This isn't your comic book Joker. In a lot of ways it is. It isn't your Christopher Nolan Joker. It isn't your Jack Nicholson. This is a Joker. This is a Joker story. This is a story about unrealized potential. This is a story about, you know, the world not being kind in a lot of ways. This is a story about delusions of grandeur. But I think overall this is a story about, you know, potential just being beyond your reach a little bit. Maybe you're holding yourself back a little bit. Because, and I'm going to go into a little bit more of why I think this movie is a lot better than it's getting credit for. People are taken out by the music. Joaquin Phoenix is a great singer. Walk the Line, Johnny Cash performance, the way that guy changes his voice to sing, fantastic. Love that movie. Lady Gaga, obviously phenomenal. The music is, you access why this Joker, who this Joker is, why he's the way he is. This is what's going on in his head. You know, again, the entertainment, the music, that's been a whole thing with Joker. Joker has always been a song and dance man. He likes to put on a show. He likes the theatrics. I mean, look at his costume. Look at any Joker costume. Purple? Are you kidding? I mean, he's a Joker. He's a clown, you know. But the Joker we see in Joker Folie Deux and, you know, Joker 2019, this is a Joker of unrealized potential. This is a Joker of delusion. This is not the clown prince of crime that we all know and have enjoyed watching over all these years, and, you know, is fearful and, you know, scary mofo. This Joker is almost a Joker, but he's not quite. He's not quite. Which I think is the most interesting part about this story that Todd Phillips chose to tell Joaquin Phoenix. This is an unrealized Joker. He has all the pieces, all the parts there. He has the adoring public. He has people willing to do anything for him. He has people just kind of understanding. He has Gotham almost, you know, in the palm of his hand. He almost has Gotham, the people of Gotham. They need somebody like this. They want somebody like this. So much so that somebody blows up the side of, you know, a court building and tries to get him out. We don't know who did that exactly. They don't say it. Could have been Harley. Could have been somebody else. But he's immediately picked up and taken, and we think, you know, this is the beginning of this Joker. This Joker, this is how he turns into the Joker. Maybe turns into similar Joker that we see in the Nolan films. But this Joker has a moment of realization a couple minutes before that. When he sees the mirror, sees what he's become, almost becomes afraid of that potential. He sees where it could go. He sees the adoring thing, but he's scared. I think there's a level of him that is scared of himself and still doesn't trust himself. He looks at himself in the mirror and gets a good look, and he just doesn't see that guy. That he is not the Joker. He is not that Joker. He's not the, you know, want to know how he got these scars kind of Joker. That's not him. That's not Arthur Fleck. He is not that Joker. And I think the story is really great because I think it shows how things can quickly climb and fall. Delusions of grandeur, essentially. And this is just not that guy. He is just a sick guy. A very sick guy. And, you know, his whole relationship with Harley, that gets him close. But after his kind of realization, he's just fallen, he's fallen apart. He loses that magic a little bit. There's still a little bit there. He calls her on the phone towards the end of the film. And he's singing. And then, it starts to fade a little bit. There's less song and dance. He's still dreaming. He's still dreaming about Harley and this perfect world where they have this talk show. But he still doesn't truly even trust her. He still doesn't truly trust her. He definitely doesn't trust himself. He doesn't really trust anyone. And the biggest thing is he doesn't trust himself, and he doesn't think he has what it takes. He really doesn't have any belief in himself. The Joker that we see in a lot of other versions of Batman and Joker stories, he knows, like, he is fully the Joker. He has given himself up over to that moniker, that persona, that life. He is just fully in. Arthur Fleck is. He doesn't have that. That's not who he is. He could have been that if he had just given fully into that persona, that Joker, but he's not that guy. This is not that Joker. And that's why I love this movie. And I think the songs were beautiful. I love hearing Lady Gaga sing, and I think Joaquin Phoenix has a great voice. I think they nailed everything technically. Obviously, it's not the perfect movie, but it's not even close to being as awful as people are saying it is. I think it's actually fantastic, and I think for people that are fans of the Joker, this is an excellent Joker movie, in my opinion. This is a great Joker story, one we haven't really seen told in this way before, as far as I know. So I don't really get it. Honestly, I don't get it. People are upset about the ending. I think the ending makes sense. I think this was always the way it was going to go. This Joker lives in a sick world. He's sick. I think it makes sense that it ends the way it does. This is not a Gotham that's going to have a Joker or this Joker. There's breadcrumbs showing that this other guy, the guy that gets him, might end up being a Joker as well, or the Joker. He has a visitor. We don't know who that is. Maybe it's Harley. Maybe it's Puddles. We won't really know. I can't see us getting a sequel to this. But I don't think it really matters. I think Gotham ultimately is safer without this Joker on the streets, without seeing the realized version of Joker. I think ultimately it's kind of a happy ending. Not for Arthur Fleck, and obviously he had a bad life, and he's dealt a bad hand, and he did awful, evil things. But Gotham doesn't have to deal with a Joker. Maybe some copycats, but it doesn't have to deal with a maniacal, ruthless, do anything I can, creature of chaos that a Joker would bring. He's not in this world. So Batman could prioritize other people. He doesn't have to worry about the Joker. There is no OP Joker, clown prince of crime in this Gotham. And I think ultimately for the city of Gotham, I think that's a good thing. And whenever Batman comes to power, and obviously the story isn't about Batman, but he will come to be in this world. We won't see it, but I think ultimately this is a happy ending. Now, let me know what you guys think. Again, I tend to disagree with almost all the reviews I saw. Most of them. Again, this is not the perfect movie. There's things that they could have done better. Could have been better choices. Joaquin, but I thought Joaquin did a fantastic job. Lady Gaga did a fantastic job. And I think this was a really cool, interesting way to tell the story of a Joker. Of an almost Joker. What would happen if he just decided not to give in? I don't know. I think it's a cool story, and I really like this movie, and I think it did a fantastic job at telling this story. I didn't think we were ever going to get a Joker 2. People are saying this was a cash grab kind of thing, or just like, not well thought out. WB just kind of forced them to make a sequel, but I think this is better than anything we could have gotten as a sequel. The music makes sense, I honestly get some criticisms, but I don't think this movie is deserving of kind of the harsh criticism it's getting. I just don't think so. I think this movie is a lot better. It is a great Joker movie. It's a great Joker story. And I think relatively it is a happy ending for the city of Gotham. This guy was never realized. He had delusions of grandeur. Again, he had a bad life. And he almost got there. He fell in love. He thought he was going to reach the height of his powers. He was starting to get that magic thinking going, that, again, main character energy. And he was almost there. And then he broke. The Joker broke. And that was that. Let me know what you guys thought of Joker Folie. Let me know what you think about my thoughts. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know. Let's talk about this movie. I think it deserves to be talked about more in a better way. A lot of people came out of the theater really I heard somebody say that was crap. This is garbage. I very much disagree. I enjoyed this movie a whole damn lot. A lot more than I thought I would. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think don't listen to the critics. Maybe don't even listen to me. And go see it for yourself. Honestly. Come to your own opinion. Come at the angle of watching this as a movie about a Joker. This is not a DCU movie. This is not a Marvel movie. You don't need all the connective tissue. You don't need Batman here. This is a Joker movie. This is about Arthur Fleck. If you go in with that and don't expect any crazy comic bookiness, I think you'll come away with this movie with something. If you like this video, subscribe, comment, like, share the video. That helps out the channel. I'm trying to grow this thing. We just crossed 2,000 subscribers, trying to get it to 3,000 and then 10,000 and then so on. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.